obviously my opinions are only of Lviv, really. Lviv was very nice. I get the impression because it's further west, it's going to be slightly different to some other cities. The conference itself, I guess it was my main experience of a lot of conferences kind of in Eastern Europe, a little bit chaotic.
That's true. It's
but lots of enthusiasm.
Eastern style, you know.
Exactly. We were just in some conferences in the Balkans, and it's much the same there. A little bit chaotic, but loads of enthusiasm. But I think actually, so the one thing I'd like to ask you first, because it's, I think we spoke briefly about it, but it's something that's always intrigued me. I mean, if you go to, so when we're at IT Arena, there's the upper floor with a couple of kind of local startups and entrepreneurs, but most of the large booths are kind of agencies and consulting companies. And it's something that's been in the back of my mind that when you have a culture of sort of outsourcing or doing work for companies in other countries, does it have a negative effect on entrepreneurs in the country? Is that changing, I suppose?
That is the challenge which Ukrainian tech specialists for now have. Because, if you're working in a big outsourcing company here, you'll have quite a good salary. I think the best one for Ukraine for now, it's European standards if you're a good developer. And if you're going to have your own product and your own startup, you don't have any venture funds to support you. So this is the main problem for now we have. Because this is the first one. The second one is, I think, somewhere in the mentality, because our people, maybe because of the post-Soviet Union times, they are afraid to risk and to go with the product. I mean, to go to their own business. Though they have a lot of ideas and though they have a lot of energy to do this. So, a lot of people just working in a company, and together they're trying to do the product, but it doesn't work because if you're doing a startup, you need to deep dive in it to have and for now, maybe because of the change of the generations, for now the younger generation we are quite different. So. If you're talking about the people, 35, 40, they are sitting in the companies mostly. Not everybody. But if you're seeing the people from 18, 20, they even sometimes don't go to work to the company. To the big outsourcing ones. They start through with their own project. And this is a good tendency. But, the thing with the big companies, together with the bad ones, as you mentioned, that in Ukraine, we have this resourceful thinking. We have a lot of talents, we have a lot of soil, we have a lot of land here. But we don't have any proper production. We don't have any proper product development. We just try to make everything out of the resources we have. And for now, the main challenge for the younger generation and for the people who is trying to make the difference is actually to make the product itself. And it's working not only with tech sphere, it's working with agriculture, for example, or it's working with the energy, for example, here, and with every sphere. But the good thing with outsourcing companies, not only with the good salaries, but with the thing that they can train their skills in the outsourcing, because the education here, it's like we are talking that we have a good tradition of tech education. That's true. But for now, the universities are not giving enough of skills to tech people to go and to work straight into the company. Like comparing with the in European universities where you have everything on campus, like a good professors with a good labs, a good acceleration programs inside the universities. We don't have that. So in order to, so they receive just a basic education. They know the math, they know some physics from the old people, like the old professors. Though in order to have practical skills, they are going to IT schools, because informal education for now in Ukraine in tech field is just blossoming. So we have a lot of tech schools opening. By the way, on the basis of the unit city, the innovation district, which I am now in charge for, we have the French franchise of the famous school École 42.
Mm-hmm.
Have you heard about that?
No, not at all.
That's actually a very new approach to tech specialists training. It's peer-to-peer education, and it's a very famous school in Paris and the Silicon Valley, and we opened such in Unit City. We have about 300 students for now. Until the end of the year, we'll have another 500 students. And we try to, first of all, to give them practical skills, and second of all, to teach them to work with the product.
Yeah, sure. Actually, just before we go down this path, just very quickly to wrap up that thread. So possibly you're saying that working in the outsourcing companies, a lot of I guess predominantly developers, but some other skills as well, have learned a lot of the things that they wouldn't have learned at school, and now maybe is the right time that enough people have learnt these skills that they're starting to think, what else can I do, and move out of that field a little. Yeah,
that's true, because a lot of tech people from the outsourcing, they are visiting the startup meetups, they're visiting the conferences because they are bored. When they're just doing the things like for all the time for other companies, working with clients, it's one thing. But when you're skilled enough and you like, this is a general person, like human quality to want to create something, right? So after they are skilled enough, they have their level of financial security, they wanted to create something. So they need to have the ideas or something. So we have that also. Like people are bored from outsourcing to go product. If outsourcing companies itself, they also understand that, because like in a big outsourcing corporations, we have inside product developments. For example, like Luxoft company or Alex, I think, or Cyclone company. That's a huge outsourcing. And inside the companies, they have they give the opportunity for their talented developers, in order not to lose them, to make some products. And acquire these products, or I don't know, or doing something with them further, or making these projects. And they totally understand that in 5 years, maybe the outsourcing itself, perhaps it won't be even necessary. It won't be like this kind of a big business. So they want also to go product on the global level. And this is a tendency now, and we will see where it will lead, like in a year or two. Yeah.
So let's come to Unit City, one of the things you're involved with. What is it, or what does it aim to be?
I would like to show you first, I think, like, are you actually planning to go to Kiev someday?
At some point, of course, yeah, hopefully.
So, because you should see that. It's quite a unique case in Ukrainian realities. We have, you can imagine yourself, the 25 hectares of old motorcycle plant.
All right. Okay.
Nearly in the center of the city.
So it's actually a city. It's actually a city. It's not just a name. It's actually a physical.
No, actually, a city in the city, as we call that, because it's 25 hectares. It's a huge one, and it's nearly in the center of the city. It's not far from, and it's all like based on the haunted motorcycle plant. The plant was actually very famous during the Soviet Union times. Like these motorcycles were actually imported to all the Soviet Union countries and so forth. But the production was like demolished after. So for now, we actually built the innovation district on that basis, and we have 5% of the territory which already built. We have a business campus, already first one with the 37 companies. It's mostly product companies with a different expertise in terms of digital transformation. For example, the companies who try to transform the logistics, the agriculture, the energy sector, the military sector. And we have accelerators on campus. We have agriculture accelerator. We have a telecom accelerator, corporate ones. We have companies based on the technology of machine learning and data science. I can actually share you the list we have.
That'd be great. Yeah.
So also we have already on the campus we have a good cafe, and for now we have a school. As I told you, this is it's a very unique school for Ukraine, and this is actually our social initiative because the education here is free.
Okay.
But
do you mean at Unit City or in Ukraine?
In Unit City, the actually 42 Unit Factory School, the education is free, but they have some obligations. They need to work in Ukraine for 3 years after graduation.
Okay, interesting. Yeah.
And, it's actually our long-term perspective because for now we are growing fast. Until the end of the year, we will have one more campus with other 50 companies, and in a half in a year, we're also finishing 7 stories building with the corporations. And we expect to have, for now, we have 200 people without students, in the companies, in the campus. And till the end of the next year, we are planning to have about 700 or maybe 1,000 people on the campus. So we are growing very fast. And the main problem in Ukraine, is actually in the world, is the lack of the tech specialists. And already the students have the internship together with their studying in school, and they have internship in the companies which are already in the campus. So from our side as a park, we provide the source for the talents to the companies, and we provide a good education to the students. And it's win-win situation.
And how did you get started with this in the first place?
Yeah, so we got started just the school will open in February, and official launch of the park was only in April.
Okay.
So it's just first steps again, but a very quick ones. So for as this is only. This is not a government initiative, and this is not even public-private initiative, because I know the experience of different innovation districts, and I've been in several, like Station F, for example, in Paris, or District 22 in Barcelona. But in Ukraine, all initiatives are actually going not from the top to not from the top, but from the down, It's going from the business. There's only one investor for now, but we are now attracting other institutional investors from abroad to contribute. But the investor, which has actually started this project, he working with real estate. He has a big real estate business. He has built the airport in Kiev, and he has a lot of he has several shopping malls there, entertainment centers, and he is very keen in development of education. And before, for 7 years already, he is trying to establish a lot of educational initiatives. And one of his initiatives was the first idea of the park was before the Maidan started, but it failed because of the situation. Yeah. And but though he he investigated and he worked on the idea for 7 years for this innovation park. So it's like his favorite project, and he wanted it to be the main one for his activities. Mm. And again, that is why I like this grounded attitude to the project, and we are already developing the international relations, communications with other innovation districts, having their experience on campus. Actually, I think for now it's the brightest project in tech. In terms of the development in Ukraine.
Okay, and is there anything similar Is the Lviv IT cluster something? It's not quite the same, is it? It's more of a industry organization, that I think.
Lviv IT cluster is actually the association of big outsourcing companies.
Okay. The complete opposite. Okay. Yeah.
That's the clusters itself is also a very interesting thing, because in Lviv cluster is a good example on how the outsourcing companies and become the business, because actually outsourcing business is very socially oriented in Ukraine now. They are really helping together they are launching a lot of educational initiatives. So they are on the grounds of how everything is started. All the successful startups which we have, the founders, they came from the outsourcing business, most of them. There is a different point of views of positive and negative doing the outsourcing, but for me, I think that it's logical, because we can't start through from the startups in Ukraine, because even now we don't have any venture fund to support them, and we don't have any legal issues to support them from the terms of the government. The laws are actually against them, and what is actually now in Ukraine happening with IT sector, we are developing against,
So actually on that, so you have this great setup where people can learn things, but what do you encourage them to do next if they have a great idea? Do you have to just help them make connections with people overseas, or what do you encourage them to do?
There are different, yes, a lot of people just go to find the investments in Silicon Valley or go to find the investments somewhere in Europe. That's a general attitude. And second of all, for now, there are a lot of initiatives, and we are in Unit City trying to work with it also. We try to engage more venture funds to come to Ukraine. And the latest month we see the progress, because first of all, first time the Y Combinator come to Ukraine, and the first time, for example, in Kiev there was a presentation. Google Launchpad launched its own program.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
And we have for now we have negotiations, but it's not for press. I think we have negotiation with Amazon for starting the startup program here. So the companies and the venture funds, they are already interested in what is happening here. And this first shock of, this is country with war, or this is country with a crisis, it's already passed.
Yeah.
And people see other side, like talented people, like creative people, like good prices, right? Great cuisine.
Exactly. Actually, that was one of our main take homes. Good food, friendly people. We had a great time. Yeah. Actually, so this isn't just all you do. You also are involved with. I'm having a complete blank. An event in Odessa, the Black Sea Summit. That's it.
Black Sea Summit.
And it didn't happen this year, but it's happened before. Why there? And what's the difference with the sort of tech scene in Odessa to Kiev?
Actually, like if we have here we say that we have 5 tech capitals. It's Kiev, it's Odessa, it's Lviv, it's Kharkiv, and it's Dnipro.
Okay.
But all of them are very different from each other. First of all, in atmosphere. Second of all, if we're talking about the expertise, Kiev is actually the center for now, though there are some attempts to make decentralization, though Kiev still are like all the life happening here. But Lviv and Odessa are also very active and trying to get this attention to them as well. I'm originally from Odessa, and I'm living in Kiev not for a long time. For now, I'm living only from April.
Oh, right, okay.
But I traveled a lot. So for me, for the last 4 years, for the last 3 years, Odessa for me was just like a point to come home, because I was somewhere in Europe. I was organizing events in tech events in Baltics. I was organizing tech events in Paris, and Black Sea Summit is actually my favorite project. Yes, it doesn't happen this year, but it will be the next year because I need a break a bit.
All right, fair enough. Okay. Events are time consuming.
It's a huge project, so it's favorite one. Now we are working on the next edition. Why Odessa? Because it's center of the product companies actually, and the center of product development, I must say, because we have. Have you heard about Luxury, which was acquired by Snapchat?
Actually, I knew there was a company that had recently been acquired by someone, and I couldn't remember who. So I'm glad you reminded me.
Yeah, this is... you use Snapchat?
Not really. I think I'm too old, which sounds like a cliche, but every time I try to use it, I don't really know what to do with it. So, there are some filters that you can make your ears or something. So these filters this is now one of the most popular feature in Snapchat, and it was the algorithm and the filter itself was made by the guys from Odessa National University. Okay.
From 18 years old guys. So these filters were acquired by Snapchat for 150 millions.
Okay, all right, that's quite a bit.
This was a good deal. So we have kind of such success stories, and we have, for example, Riddle company, which were I think the first ones who started to trade in App Store the business application business. We have Augmented Pixels company, AR company, which is now working closely with the National Geographic and a lot of such world initiatives. And you know why? Because as I told that we are all different. In Odessa, we have this kind of individualistic nature, Everybody is very individualistic, and Odessa was always the port city.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it's also much further south, so you have all those connections to Turkey and
and it's very much like a lot of. We have a very mixed population from terms of nationalities, and like very special history connected with all this entrepreneurship. There's like even a joke that Odessa people is one of. First of all, this is the capital of humor. When we joke, like, so if you know, like if you're saying like, "Hi, I'm from Odessa," like make a joke.
Okay. I won't ask you because it'll probably be lost in translation. So
yeah. So and the second of all is the entrepreneurship culture.
Yeah. Okay.
And so there are a lot of again shortcomings, and this is a city near the sea. It's very nice and beautiful, and a lot of conferences, even in states, they're happening somewhere in Las Vegas, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So that was the main idea. First of all, when we made the first Black Sea Summit, it was to attract more attention to not only to Kyiv but to that part of the tech ecosystem, which is also very developed.
Yeah.
And the second one, we made a conference for countries from the Black Sea region, and we have people from Romania, from Georgia, from a lot of people from Europe, and even participants from Singapore. It was 200 people, 2,000. Sorry. If we are comparing that to the next web or to the Web Summit, of course, it's very small. But in terms of Ukraine,
that's not. I mean, that's not bad. I mean, Web Summit is only, I don't know, maybe at most add a zero, at absolute most add a zero to that. Next Web is not that big. I would say it's probably about the same. It's they list it as an intimate event, so it's yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty good. I mean, even IT Arena, when I mentioned how many people were there to people here, they were surprised. And I was just at a conference purely for developers in Belgrade, and that was 800 people. I think this is always the interesting thing. This is why I like going east, because people have these assumptions, and it's always nice to know they're completely wrong. So... Actually, it's interesting because currently the MacPaw people are here at the moment. That's one company that a lot of people might know. There's also Grammarly, which is obviously somewhat surprising because it's a Ukrainian company that corrects you on English grammar, which is sort of feels like a strange contradiction. But I mean, that's actually a product I use almost every day. So there are a few out there. I mean, so I guess this is... So it's interesting that you mentioned that you also did some work in the Baltics, because I think one of the best examples of a country that has really pulled itself up after the sort of post-USSR is Estonia, and it's almost over-talked about. But they got something kind of right. But for Ukraine, obviously it's a very large country, and you say that it could be quite different in each place. And each place has its own problems as well at the moment. But what do you think would be... What's the main three things sort of missing to really, in the next 5 to 10 years, make Ukraine kind of a center of entrepreneurship? What are the three things you'd like to see change?
First of all, I think it's venture funding here. So investors coming to, but investors will come when we have a good legal situation.
Okay. Yep.
So I think that essential is of course legal and the support of the government. A lot of initiatives coming from the business. First of all, a lot of business associations together with with IT associations trying to push this. For example, we have this case when after the Maidan, the CEO of Microsoft Ukraine, Dmitry Shimkiv, just go to the government in order he left the Microsoft and go to the government in order to push these initiatives and support. And I think that he's doing a good job.
Okay. Yeah.
Though we don't need some time. Then education.
Yeah.
Because though we have a lot of good tech skills, there are like a very huge gap with the business skills and the skills of self-presentation, marketing, and so forth.
Yeah.
We're trying to close this gap also, but feel to work at. And third, I think this is the image and the international attention to that sector in Ukraine. Not from the point just to come and to hunt the developers and to relocate them, but from the point to see the talents here and to establish the programs here. Because when, for example, even Google Launchpad, they try to have the projects coming to San Francisco, and they have this call for a year or something, but then they settle the program here. And I think that was the right choice because they can acquire even more ideas, and they can build the thing here, like from the zero. And this is, there is kind of a chaos happening around. But for me, the chaos is actually the thing where you can find more opportunities.
Exactly. No, exactly. That's a very good point. Yeah.
And for me, for example, I stayed in Ukraine, though I have a lot of offers to come and to work in France or in Sweden. I stayed in Ukraine because here you can still develop something and create something out from the zero. And though, again, a lot of difficulties. For example, I studied several months in Switzerland several years ago.
Well, that is a country that doesn't have a lot of chaos. So, yeah.
It was crazy. Really, they have everything is fine. Like even if you are lost in the forest, there is a bear who will show you the way. Everything is stable, fine, and they have this problem that young people just go to somewhere to Africa, and they have this problem I don't remember, 60% or 70% of the population are actually under their 50s.
And I mean, Berlin is a bubble in Germany, but Germany is similar. They have a real problem with a lot of young people leaving, and Germany is a little bit more chaotic than Switzerland, but it's still, in the grand scheme of European countries, not that chaotic.
We need more international experience. We need the Swiss and German people come to Ukraine and to give this experience and to gain the experience we have, because we have something to teach too as well.
On that note, how easy is it? How easy is it for foreigners to move to Ukraine to work? I mean, obviously it depends where you come from, but for example, my wife's Australian and she needed a visa just to visit. I have a British passport as well, which made it easy to visit. But in terms of actually working, how easy is it for foreigners, or is that coming back to the legal problems you see at the moment?
No, it's easy.
Okay.
So it's not a big deal. So we have a lot of companies which are actually helping to do that, or even not only from the point of view of the individuals who want to work, but in point of view of the company. If you want to establish company, we have a lot of good ones that help you with all the legal issues.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Well, I mean, it's actually, we were thinking about where to go next. So.
If it's experience at Odessa, I think you will love it.
No, I mean in terms of living. So.
By the way, in Odessa, I have a lot of friends, like 5 Germans who is actually living in Odessa for already like for a long time already.
Yeah.
So they just for winter they also involved with IT.
Yeah.
But for winter they go to Thai, and then the rest of the year they live in Odessa.
Yeah.
And they are also doing some software development, doing physical workings, and they are a fan of that.
Yeah.
And the same thing in Kiev, like a lot of foreigners living here for constantly.
So just to finish up, is there anything in particular happening in your world over the next few months that you want to make sure people know about?
This is the Black Sea Summit, which will be happening in 2018, first of all. And we will have the official launch of I think somewhere in December, January. For now, we are working on it. And of course, we will be happy to see and to share more about the Unit City. We are now actually launching the new program called Unit Connect. It will be about the connection of Ukraine to the global tech hubs, the Ukrainian tech ecosystem to the global tech hubs, and vice versa. More. I can share more information. We are now in the terms of discussing the best ways to launch that somewhere in December.
Perfect. No, that's definitely a good place to end there. I mean, that's enough. It is nearly November. Things start to slow down a bit. So.
Yeah, it is.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for your time. It's been a really interesting conversation to hear what's going on. And I highly recommend people visit at least one of those 3 cities that we've mentioned, if not some of the others.
And thank you for your interest in Ukraine and promoting us.
It was. We wanted to visit for ages, and the only negative was that my wife had to get a visa. That was the only negative. Everything else we enjoyed. So.
Yeah, I understand because I try to acquire visa like almost all the time.
Oh, I know.
Now we have visa free.
I'm complaining about something that. Well, I very rarely have to get a visa, and even she has had to get a visa maybe twice. So we don't know what we're talking about really.
I understand that it's actually exhausting stuff, and
I'm sure it's far harder for you than it is for her. So
no. Already it's fine because we have already visa free.
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah, now you've got the new thing with Europe, especially.
We are very happy about that.
Just hope that not everyone leaves, I suppose, is the next point now. Just as things are starting to happen, you don't want everyone to leave, I suppose.
Yeah.
Is the problem. All right, excellent. Well, thanks very much for your time.
Thank you, and have a good
great
weekend. Friday.
You too.
Yeah, you too.
Take care. All right, bye-bye.